Hello everyone and happy Saraswati Puja to all of you. So, as today is an auspicious day, I have launched a new playlist of board's question and it will cover 20 or 15 or 30 plus PYQs of biology chapter for the 12 upcoming boards. So, today, let's begin with biodiversity and conservation. It contains 20 plus PYQ, so let's dig in. First is a short answer type question, and the first question says identify A and B in the vertebrate diversity in the pie chart. अच्छा आप लोग एनसीईआरटी में देखेंगे कि पेज थर्ड और फोर्थ पेज के इस चैप्टर के पाई चार्ट करके दो तीन डायग्राम्स हैं। तो उस डायग्राम में एक वर्टिब्रेट का भी है और मैमल्स का भी है और एक एम्फीबियंस का भी है शायद से। ये जो तीन पाई चार्ट है अच्छे से पढ़ लेना क्योंकि पाई चार्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन हमेशा आता है एंड इस बार आने के लिए भी बहुत 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 चांसेस है। सो ये वाला क्वेश्चन उससे। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है विच ऑफ द थ्री फॉरेस्ट टेम्परेट मैनग्रोव और ट्रॉपिकल ग्रीन इज मोर वनरेबल टू इन्वेशन बाय आउटसाइड एनिमल्स एंड प्लांट्स। सो द आंसर विल बी tropical evergreen forest because they have the highest biodiversity and invasion significantly disturbs their ecosystem. The next question is of 2 marks. Why are sacred groups are highly protected? Because the forest fragments are protected by the local community due to religious importance. Due to various sort of religious importance, they are being protected. They often serve as a refuge for a large number of the rare and threatened species. Next question, list four causes of biodiversity loss, and it is also known as the evil quadrant. The answer will be habitat loss, overexploitation, alien species invasion, and coexisting. Next question is how are in situ and ex situ conservation approaches are different. So in situ में क्या होता है अपने और रह के ही कंजर्व किया जाता है एंड ex situ में बाहर से आया जाता है. So the answer will be in situ involves conserving species in their own or natural habitat. For example, in cases of national parks, whereas in case of ex situ, it involves conservation outside the natural habitat. Example, zoological park. Next, move to 6 number question. Explain why mutualists tend to co-evolve and how they cause biodiversity loss. इधर tend होगा हाँ टाइपिंग मिस्टेक हो गया शायद से. So answer will be mutualists like fig tree and the webs are tightly linked. They evolve together. If one species is eliminated, the other inevitably goes extinct as well. So here comes the concept of coexisting. So ये concept भी देख लेना. अभी आते हैं 3 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन में जो आ सकता है. आइडेंटिफाई एक्स एंड वाई इन द इनवर्टिब्रेट पाई चार्ट. सी अगेन पाई चार्ट वाला क्वेश्चन आ गया एंड इट स्टेट द मोस्ट स्पीशीज रीच ग्रुप. हियर एक्स रिप्रेजेंट्स इंसेक्ट्स पाई चार्ट में देख लेना एंड वाई molluscs. Insects are most species reach making up 70% of all the animal. So insects are the most species reach group in that pie chart. Explain endemism and name for biodiversity hotspots in or around the India. Endemism is when a species is unique to a specific geographical location and found nowhere else. For example, hotspots include the Western Ghats, Sri Lanka, Indo-Burma, and the Himalayas. Question number 9. What did Alexander von Humboldt observe regarding the species-area relationship? He observed that species richness increases with increasing explored area but only up to a certain limit. इस क्वेश्चन में आप लोग अगर ग्राफ इंक्लूड कर सकते हो तो और भी ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा. Why do the tropics show the greatest level of species diversity? They remain undisturbed for millions of years. They have constant or predictable environment. High availability of the solar energy leads to a higher productivity. How do habitat loss and overexploitation affect biodiversity? Habitat loss destroys homes and resources for species, and overexploitation reduces the population size to the end of the extinction. Explain narrowly utilization, broad utilization, and ethical arguments for conservation. Narrow utilitarian focuses on direct economic benefits, for example, food, medicines, and broadly focuses on ecosystem services like oxygen production. And ethical posits that every species has an intrinsic value and we have a moral duty in order to protect them. Justify how alien species invasion is a threat using an example. The introduction of the Nile perch in the Lake Victoria led to the extinction for over 200 species of cichlid fish. How is the sixth extinction different from the previous one and who is responsible? It is 100 to 1000 times faster than the previous episodes. Human activities, that is habitat destruction, etc., mainly responsible for it. Which vertebrate group is most vulnerable to extinction and provide example of the recent extinctions? Amphibians are the most vulnerable and recent extinctions include dodo, quagga and thylacine and also mention their name area name in bracket. Now comes to detailed concept. This concepts are generally based on the deep dug down inside the NCERT where they most likely to go for questions. And the 16th number of question says explain the David Tillman's findings on community stability. He found the plots with more species who showed less year-to-year variation in total biomass. That increased the diversity contributes to a higher productivity. What are the consequences of biodiversity loss? Decline in the plant production, lower resistance to environmental disturbance like drought, and increased variability in the ecosystem processes. Explain the variable in the species area relationship and also here to include the graph. S is the species richness and A is the area and C is the y-intercept and Z is the slope line regression of the coefficient. ये जो ग्राफ था शायद आप लोगों से पता ही होगा वही ग्राफ वाला क्वेश्चन है मैंने जस्ट पॉइंट क्या क्या है वो मेंशन कर दिया है सो ग्राफ से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं सो ये भी देख लेना. Second last question. List 4 ex situ techniques for conservation. In vitro fertilization, cryopreservation, seed banks and tissue culture. ये जो प्रोसेस है ना जो 4 इनको थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करके लिखना होगा एग्जाम के टाइम पे ठीक है तो ये NCERT में ही है सेकेंड या थर्ड पेज में वहाँ से बना सकते हो आप लोग. And here comes the last question. How does in situ conservation help to endangered species? It protects the species in the natural surrounding, national park sanctuaries and maintains ecological integrity and genetic diversity. So thank you for your cooperation. ऐसे ही सब कुछ देखते रहना मैं हर एक चैप्टर का कवर करवा दूँगी अच्छे से फॉलो कर लेना एंड ज़रूर से NCERT लाइन बाय लाइन रीड करना ठीक है तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में तब तक के लिए अच्छे से पढ़ो विदाउट एनी टेंशन एंड वरी बेस्ट ऑफ लक.